Hello everyone. Welcome tonight. I'm trying something new. We're using a Devo camera tonight. So we just thought we'd try it out. It's something that we may be able to use on Sunday morning. It's a little bit strange because the Devo camera is not hooked up to my phone. So I'm just looking at a small camera that's about 2 inches by about 3 inches tall, 2 inches wide by about 3 inches tall, and I can't see who's coming into the broadcast. But it's valuable tonight, even though I'm a little bit frustrated with not being able to see who I'm interacting with and who is on this evening, because I think that makes it just more personal. We need to test it out and make sure that it works, so that when we want to go live on a Sunday morning, then we can use it. Because Sunday morning, I don't have my phone. I'm not seeing who's interacting. We've been using Frasia's phone on Sunday morning because it's an iPhone 11. Ooh, no, it's a good phone, and it does a good job. It has a nice camera on it. I'm also not sure about the camera quality that's involved. Usually, on a Monday or Thursday Devo, I use my phone, and see, here is my phone. You can see it. So that's me looking into a camera, and you're seeing that, and then the camera is also videoing me, and you can see that there's a little bit of a delay between what the camera sees and what I'm actually doing. So so that's a little bit interesting too. So I see people saying hello and hi and all that. So I can see a little bit from my phone, and that's why, see, I can just see somebody saying hello, brother. And I don't know who that is. I might guess that is James Spann. And sorry if I got that wrong, because again, I can't see what's going on there. Oop, see there, I adjusted the camera inadvertently. So I'm not sure if I can, I was trying to see if I could see who was on. I can see that there are 13 people. I can see that it's broadcasting to Facebook. Now there's 14 people, but that's all I can see. I can't interact with you. So that is frustrating tonight, but the really cool thing is, see, I can expand the screen like that if I want to. You can look at all the stuff on my shelf. I can go full screen like that. And you notice that it kind of curves a little bit in the corners, but that is because I don't have there's a setting that you can put it on where it doesn't curve like that, but it kind of has one of those fisheye lenses on it to be able to catch a lot in the view, because we're picking up a lot more at a 3-foot distance than we were with just my phone. And I want to give a shout out to Nate Powell over at Auburn Christian Church, because we are borrowing this Devo right now, which a long time ago they thought maybe was broken, and it turns out it wasn't broken. They, like us, were experiencing some connectivity problems. And so anyway, this is the Devo. I can broadcast to multiple platforms at the same time, like to YouTube Live, but to do that, you have to pay $180 a year to Vimeo. And if you're going to have Vimeo, then you might as well go ahead and stream it to Vimeo too. So I could send it to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Vimeo, and we don't have to worry about any editing, and we can do some fun stuff with it. And with that $180 per year, not only can you broadcast to different platforms, but you can also what else can you do with it? Well, it can put little subtitles down at the bottom. So if we want to do scripture or something like that, whoever's running it, because what it does is the Devo connects to an app on your phone, and then that's what sends it out into internet land. So there you go. Didn't pay any extra for that, and let's see, there's 13. See, we're losing people because we're talking about the Devo. But I am glad that you're involved with the Proverbs Challenge and all of that, and things are kind of winding down. It doesn't seem like it, but this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. It's kind of the official start of summer and that sort of thing. So after tomorrow, or after Wednesday night, Frasia and Friends is done for the year, and also So I'm going to broadcast tonight and on Thursday night for our Thursday Devo. Fresh and Friends is on Wednesday. That will be the last Fresh and Friends because it's summer. And also because Frecia is moving into another place here in town, to the funeral home where she's going to be working. And so she has some days off, and so she's going to devote time to that. And it's summer. And it's also summer for me. So tonight is my last Monday night Devo for the summer, because the next Monday night Devo is Memorial Day, and I'll probably be doing some things with family, and I hope that you're doing some things with family as well on Memorial Day, or friends. And that's really close to Rebecca's birthday, so there might be a celebration in there. Don't tell her I said that. There might be a celebration in there because her birthday is the 26th, which I think is next Tuesday, so the day after Memorial Day. And Josh has a birthday coming up. He's going to be 19 a week from Monday. Sometimes we celebrate those together, but we probably aren't going to do that perhaps anymore. I don't know. All right, so on to other things, because we're still at 13 people. So thank you, 13, for hanging with me here in Proverbs. But needed to let you know about that. Last Fresh and Friends is tomorrow, or is on Wednesday. Our last Monday Devo is tonight, and we're going to stick with the Thursday Devo for a while here. I think it's a good way to interact with people kind of before the weekend and all of that. So since today is May 18th, we're going to check out Proverbs 18. And so what did we find in Proverbs 18? And what was your favorite verse, or verse that spoke to you more than any other? And go ahead and post that on the live. There's several that stand out to me. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I have 6 of them. So buckle up. We're going to dig in here. Proverbs 18, verse 2. Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. I like these Proverbs because they're just straightforward and to the point. And, thinking about how the Bible, after all of these years, applies to our lives, because Proverbs would have been written around 1000 BC, 900 BC, the 900s BC. And that's 3,000 years ago, and this still applies today, that fools delight in airing their own opinions. That is very true. We see that on Facebook all the time. And you know what? That's certainly our right. We have the right, and we're big about rights and privilege in America, which is part of how an entitlement culture begins. Well, I have the right to do this, and so we think that we're entitled when those inalienable rights were given us by our Creator. The government did not give them to us. Our Creator, God, gave them to us. And so we want to, a lot of times, are way too focused on our rights and what is right and what is mine. And that attitude, when we're airing our own opinions, can lead us down some bad roads. But as Paul writes, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Sure, you have the right to throw that out there. You certainly do. You can spread hatred. You can spread mistrust. You can spread anger, bitterness, all sorts of things that you want to on Facebook or on the internet or even face-to-face. But as Paul writes, everything is permissible. Not everything is beneficial. Sure, you have the right to do that, but does it benefit you? Does it benefit anyone else? Because fools, only fools delight in just airing their own opinions. They find no pleasure in understanding. They just want to be heard. So that's maybe something that applies in our world, and something that I want to remember with my social media posts and that, because the world is watching, and really that stuff never disappears. Even if you regret it and go back to try to take it down later, you can remove it from your Facebook, but if somebody took a screenshot of that, it is out there in the world. So let's remember that maybe a little bit. So that's my thought on Proverbs 18, verse 2. I like verse 6, and it's kind of, I don't know that I like it. It's thought-provoking a little bit, I think. Verse 6, the lips of fools bring them strife, and their mouths invite a beating. Now, that doesn't mean we're supposed to go ahead and just clock a a fool in the mouth, but they are certainly inviting a beating. They invite that attitude, right? So if you're struggling with strife, sometimes the lips of fools bring strife. The lips of fools bring strife. So if you're experiencing a lot of strife in life, and I think that's kind of code for drama, if you're experiencing drama in life, strife in life, then perhaps it's that you're acting foolishly, or that you're allowing things to come out of your mouth in a foolish manner. Have you ever had someone lash out at you and create strife? And when you push back just a little bit, they act like you wounded them. That person is a fool. They've created strife with their lips, and their mouth invites a beating. And if you just push back even a little bit, sometimes then they act like you've wounded them. They break down in tears. That person, according to this, is a fool. The lips of fools bring strife, and their mouths invite a beating. Again, doesn't mean that you're supposed to beat them. It just means that their mouths are inviting it by what they say. So let's be careful with what we say so that we do not invite a beating. Verse 8, some more about words, right? The words of a gossip are like choice morsels. They go down to the inmost parts. Gossip tastes good going down. Those secret morsels. Oh, did you hear what so-and-so? Did you hear about this? Or did you know this? And people that like to gossip, they like to have those little bits of knowledge. It's not wisdom, but knowledge about something that they can share. They think that they're in the know. It's really a form of pride, honestly. But gossip tastes good going down, but it ends up in your heart. Right? That's what it's saying. They go down. The words of a gossip are like choice morsels. They go down to the inmost parts. So at first they taste good. They're like choice morsels, but then they end up on the inside. They go down to the inmost parts. And where is our inmost part? But our heart. Didn't we read that back in Proverbs chapter 4? About the heart being the wellspring of life. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. That's Proverbs 4:32. And so you don't want that gossip to end up in your heart. So just stop with that. Or I could mention verse 10. The name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. Now there's an old chorus about that. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it, and they are saved. Okay, so that's an old chorus about it. We also sing a song, and this is several years old now, but Strong Tower. Strong tower sounds better than a fortified tower, but a fortified tower means that it's not just a tower out in the middle of nowhere. A fortified tower is part of a castle. It's a fortified castle tower, and it is the safest part. It's the last place that people would go to for safety, because if every other place was taken, they would run to that strong tower. And the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. Now that doesn't just mean invoking the name of the Lord. People have tried to do that in the Bible. I remember the 7 sons of Sceva in the book of Acts. They try to do that. They try to use the name of Jesus for something, and the Spirit of Jesus wasn't in them, and so that really backfired on them. Go look that up, the 7 sons of Sceva. That's an interesting story. But the name of the Lord is a strong tower. When we run to Him, when we run to the shelter that He has, the righteous run to it, and we are safe. And so that's a good thing to remember. Or verse 22, I kind of like Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. That's a good verse. That's very true. And congratulations to Josh and Mariah, who were married a couple weeks ago. Treasure your wife, men, if you have one. The New Living Translation says to treasure your wife. value her above all others, and you will receive favor from the Lord. And I hope that Josh and Mariah have favor from the Lord as they begin their household together. And I think they found a house, pretty sure, making plans that direction here in town, and so we're excited for them. Hope that that all works, and we'll be praying for them. We've been praying about their situation for a while, that they would be able to find a good house, and that they would be able to get what they want, have a place to live, and they weren't really interested in an apartment, and it looks like the Lord has provided a house, and the Lord, like He does, He uses some of His people to help with that. And so thank you to those who've helped them, and we look forward to hopefully them moving in next month. All right, my last one I want to talk about today is verse 24. One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. A friend that sticks closer than a brother. You know, this verse made me think of my brother Doug, who passed away a couple weeks ago. It'll be 2 weeks just on Monday. His motorcycle accident, and they're still investigating all of that. Doug's good friend Eric was there a lot at his house, comforting Doug's wife, Michelle. Eric had known Michelle for as long as they'd been together, as long as she'd been with Doug. Knew Doug longer than that. Eric's been a friend of Doug's for 28 years. They hunted together for like a week every year for 28 years. And they didn't miss. It's something they did all of the time. Doug did all the cooking, I guess, so I don't know how Eric and his boys and some others are going to eat. They went out and they would hunt deer and elk and antelope. Doug liked to call them goats. And Eric had a closer relationship with my brother Doug than I ever had. I didn't live near Doug as an adult at all. He's lived in Colorado for many years, and while he lived across the street, or catty corner I call it, across the street from me growing up, he was older and was he taught me a lot of things and all of that, but I wasn't close with him like Eric was close with him. Eric had knowledge of Doug that I didn't, because they spent so much time together. In fact, they had just purchased comms for their motorcycle helmets. They had the same kind of bike, and each of them had helmets, and they were going to be able to communicate while they were going down the road. And those actually came in the mail while we were there. Michelle opened them up, and she was actually going to return it. Obviously, Doug didn't need it anymore. You know, I didn't ever get to go hunting with Doug or riding motorcycles, but Eric did, and they spent a lot of time together, and that's okay. It's a blessing to have friends that are closer than a brother. I have several myself, and I would encourage you to continue to value those relationships in your life, because you never know how much time you have in life. So make the most of today. One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And if you have a friend like that, you hold on to that friend, and you make sure you stick to that friend closer than a brother. While I was there offering condolences to Michelle, Eric had an intimate relationship with Doug and a close relationship with Michelle, and he was able to know what her needs are and how to be able to help her in her time of need, because he was a friend who stuck closer than a brother. And so stick with those friends real close. Well, thank you again for letting me share tonight, and it looks like 20 of you stuck with me this evening. I can see there on my phone, and I hope the Devo went well. Give me some feedback, if you would, when you get off about the Mevo. If you'd like me to interact a little bit more, I'll go back and I can use my phone. It's not a problem. I just wanted to try the Mevo out tonight, so thanks for being guinea pigs along with me. I appreciate that, and I'll see you all on Thursday, and Thursday is chapter 21. So continue to do the Proverbs Challenge if you would. I know some people have been in it. Some of you, like John Newman, have been there every single day. You're in it, and you're posting it, and all that, and she's wanting to know, well, what do we do next? Well, You could pick a gospel like the Gospel of Mark. That's a pretty easy read. If you want a little more in depth about who Jesus is, the book of John is a good one for that. If you want some practical advice in life and some things that are practical like the Proverbs we've been going through, the book of James is very good. The New Testament book of James, that's a good one. Or reading Genesis about creation and the Tower of Babel and the flood and those sorts of things, and on to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and how the nation of Israel began. That's an interesting book as well. So there's a lot of Bible books out there. There's a lot to be able to dig in and chew on, and so those are some that you might want to try out when we're done with this. But stick with us through the end of the month as we finish out Proverbs. And thanks again for joining us tonight. Good night.